कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे हरे राम, राम राम, हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा राम। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम, हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम, हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम, हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपद, 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 जय प्रभुपद। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, निताई गौरा हरि बोल। हरि हरि नाम संकीर्तन की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Today morning we are reading from Shrimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, chapter number 12, text 1 to 7. So we'll try to recite this verse. Shri Rishi Uvacha Evam Jigasu Niradehajo Mrityurvaram Vijayan Manaya Manaha Sulam Pragrabhayat Patat Surendram यथा मया पुरुषं कैतवप्सु। श्रीऋषि उवाच एवं जिहासुर्नृपदेहमाजो मृत्युं वरं विजयन्मन्यामनः। शूलं प्रघातभयत्पात् सुरेन्द्रम् यथा महापुरुषं कैतभोप्सु। श्रीऋषि उवाच एवं जिहासुर्नृपदेहमाजो मृत्युं वरं विजयन् मन्यमानः सुलं प्रज्ञाभ्यपतत् सुरेन्द्रम् यथा महापुरुषं कैतवस्पु। एवं जिहासुर्नृपदेहमाजो मृत्युं वरं विजयान् मन्यमानः सुलं प्रज्ञात्मया सुरेन्द्रम्। माताजी's Shri Rishi Uvacha. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, Evam thus Jihasu, very eager to give up. Nripa, O King Parikshit, Deham, the body, Ajo, in battle, Mrityum, death, Varam, better, Vijayat, then victory, Manyamanaha, thinking, Sulam, trident, Pragraya, taking up, Abhyapatat, attacked, Sura Indram, the king of heaven, Indra, Yatha, just as, Mahapurusham, the supreme personality of Godhead, Kaitabaha, the demon Kaitaba, Apshu, when the whole universe was inundated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Shukadeva Goswami said, desiring to give up his body, Vritrasur considered death in the battle preferable to victory. O King Parikshit, he vigorously took up his trident and with great force attacked Lord Indra, the king of heaven, just as Kaitaba had forcefully attacked the supreme personality of Godhead when the universe was inundated. Purport. Although Vritrasur repeatedly encouraged Indra to kill him with thunderbolt, King Indra was morose at having to kill such a great devotee and was hesitant to throw it. Vritrasura, disappointed that King Indra was reluctant despite his encouragement, took the initiative very forcefully by throwing his trident at Indra. Vritrasur was not at all interested in victory. He was interested in being killed so that he could immediately return home back to Godhead. As confirmed in the Gita 4.9, Tattva Deham Punarjanma Naiti. After giving up his body, a devotee immediately returns to Lord Krishna and never return acts to accept another body. This was Vritrasura's interest. So we'll just read translations and maybe a purport from other verses, that is text 2 to 7. Translation, text 2. Then Vritrasura, the great hero of the demons, whirled his trident, which has points like the flames of the blazing fire at the end of millennium. With great force and anger, he threw it at Indra, roaring and exclaiming loudly, O sinful one, thus shall I kill you. Text 3. Flying in the sky, Vritrasura's trident resembled a brilliant meteor. Although the blazing weapon was difficult to look upon, King Indra, unafraid, cut it to pieces with his thunderbolt. Simultaneously, he cut off one of Vritrasura's arm, which was as thick as the body of Vasuki, the king of the serpents. Translation, text 4. Although one of his arms was severed from his body, Vritrasura angrily approached King Indra and struck him on the jaw with an iron mace. He also struck the elephant that carried Indra. Thus, Indra dropped the thunderbolt from his hand. Text 5 translation. The denizens of the various planets, like the demigods, demons, charanas, and siddhas, praised Vritrasura's deeds. But when they observed that Indra was in great danger, they lamented, Alas, alas. Text 6. Having dropped the thunderbolt from his hand in the presence of his enemies, Indra was practically defeated and was very much ashamed. He dared not pick up his weapon again. Vritrasura, however, encouraged him, saying, Take up your thunderbolt and kill your enemy. This is not the time to lament your fate. Text 7. Translation. Vritrasura continued, O Indra, no one is guaranteed of being always victorious but the original enjoyer. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, He is the cause of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, and He knows everything. Being dependent and being obliged to accept material bodies, belligerent subordinates are sometimes victorious and sometimes defeated. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya chaham ridhi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apavanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. When two parties fight, the fighting actually goes on under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma, the Super Soul. Elsewhere in the Gita 3.27, the Lord says, Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimodhatma kartaham iti manyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by nature. The living entities work only under the direction of the Supreme Lord. The Lord gives orders to material nature and she arranges facilities for the living entities. The living entities are not independent, although they foolishly think themselves the doers, karta. Victory is always with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As for the subordinate living entities, they fight under the arrangements of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Victory or defeat is not actually theirs, it is an arrangement by the Lord through the agency of the material nature. Pride is a victory, or moroseness in defeat is useless. One should fully depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is responsible for the victory and the defeat of all living entities. The Lord advises Niyatam Kuru Karmani Tvam Karma Jayohi Akarmanaha. Perform your prescribed duties, for action is better than inaction. The living entity is ordered to act according to his position. Victory or defeat depends on the Supreme Lord. Karmanyavidhikaristha ma phaleshu kadachana. You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of the actions. One must act sincerely according to his position. Victory or defeat depends on the Lord. Vritrasur encouraged Indra, saying, "Don't be morose because of my victory. There is no need to stop fighting. Instead, you should go on with your duty. When Krishna decides, you will certainly be victorious." This verse is very instructive for sincere workers in the Krishna consciousness movement. We should not be jubilant in victory or morose in defeat. We should make a sincere effort to implement the will of Krishna or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we should not be concerned with victory and defeat, or our only duty is to work sincerely so that our activities may be recognized by Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahiyam Tadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Gutatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadvutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lita Shri Vishakam Nitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास अधिगौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Hare Krishna. So it's my pleasure and honor to welcome all of you for today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are reading from Canto 6, chapter number 12, text 1 to 7. The chapter is entitled as Vritrasura's glorious death. So now it's been few weeks or maybe a month or so there we are, you know, discussing this amazing episode of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this whole episode began from Indra, the Lord of Heaven. And what exactly happened was Indra was enjoying the beautiful dance of the heavenly damsels, and he was in complete samadhi. And right at that time, his Guru Maharaj, Srila Brihaspati, enters. And when Brihaspati is Guru, when he enters, that was a time where he actually notices him, but he ignores him because he was absorbed in some other activities. And because he ignored, he didn't welcome his Guru, because Shastra described that as soon as you see a spiritual master or a great devotee, you should offer obeisances. You should offer pranams. We should offer dandavat. Dandavat means just like a stick falls on the ground. We should try to offer pranams or respects to the Guru. What to speak of doing all this Indra, he ignored his spiritual master, Brahaspati. And because of that, Indra failed due to pride. So this verse repeatedly talks about victory and defeat, victory and defeat. But here, the first instance of defeat is Indra got defeated because of his false pride. Because of his false pride, he was thinking, I am the enjoyer, I am the controller. Why should I respect somebody else? Why should I? Oh, if a guru comes, then I have to go and serve him, right? I don't know in your case, but sometimes does it ever happen? You're busy in something and you're enjoying that activity, and suddenly you see a senior devotee or you are seva in charge, and you are thinking, oh my God, if I see him, he'll give me some seva. And you are afraid that agar Prabhuji ne mujhko dekh liya, agar this devotee he sees me, then he will engage me in some seva and I don't want to leave this place, right? So same thing here. Indra, he failed to offer respect to his guru. And because of that, not just him, but all the devatas, they lost their power. And because they lost their power, the demons became more powerful, and they actually uh, came to the heavenly planets and had a fight and just, you know, defeated them. Not just defeated them, they conquered the heavenly planets. Now, all the devatas, they were actually homeless. They were going here and there, and then finally they go to Lord Brahma. And then when they go to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma chastises, you know, uh, Indra, saying that how could you offend your guru? And because you offended your guru, you lost your power. And because of this, all these things happen. And then Indra, he is not worried that he displeased his guru. He is not worried that, you know, what is my guru Brahaspati thinking about me? He is worried, when will I get my power and position back? Now that is a sign of a materialistic person. He is not interested that how a person is feeling, how a person is he hurt. He is not feeling about the difficulty other is facing. He is only thinking about his sense gratification. He is only thinking about his ego. That how can I be satisfied? And herein we see Indra. Here he is thinking, how can I get power back? And seeing this, Brahmaji, he tells that, because you have done this, you now go to Vishwarup. Vishwarup is a great Brahman. He will perform some yajna, and by that, you know, you will get your power back. Then they go to Vishwarup, and then Vishwarup performs the yajna. But this whole episode of the Srimad Bhagavatam is like a amazing episode where there are so many twists and turns, suspense, thriller, so many things happening. Now, Vishwarup actually he was from the Devata side, but he had some connection with the Asura side also. So he was secretly offering some mantras for their power also. And suddenly, you know, Indra comes to know about this, and he thinks that he's cheating us, and immediately he takes the sword off and cuts off the head of Vishwarup. Now, he had one power problem, and now he lands up in another problem. The bigger problem is he kills a Brahmana, Vishwarup. Now he's thinking again. Here we see here we see that in the earlier instance he's failed because of his false pride. Now Indra here again defeated by his anger. He could have he could have confronted him. Hey, why are you doing this? He could have scolded him. He could have chastised him. He could have punished him in some ways. But because of that gross attachment for power and position and insecurity, he didn't listen anything. He just cut off the head of Vishwarup. And then he thought, oh, what blunder I did. And then again, he was thinking, now what should I do? How will I again come back to power? So, another lesson to be learned is anger is so powerful. That's why they say anger is just one letter away from danger. If you see, the spelling of danger is Danger. So, anger is one letter short of danger. So, that's why a devotee should, you know, always be careful. I think in the Skanda Puran or some other Puran, it describes that there are 6 types of Vaishnava aparats, right? The first one is to kill a Vaishnava. So here he already killed. The second one is to blaspheme a devotee. Third is to be envious or to hate a devotee. Fourth is to not glorify a devotee. Just imagine. You don't glorify a devotee is also an aparad. That's why we should always try to glorify a devotee. And fifth is to be angry on a devotee. And sixth is to not be happy upon seeing a devotee. So here we see Indra, because of his uncontrolled anger, he cut off the head of Vishwarup. And then again, the whole story we know. But here we see how anger is so powerful. Sometimes when a person is angry, he forgets his senses. Many, many years ago, Radha Gopinath Prabhu once was sharing a story which came in Times of India, where a young girl and a young boy, they become attached to each other. They have a love marriage, and they're so happy in their love marriage that they get married to each other. And then, as you know, what happens typically in a love marriage, girl and the boy are eager to get married, but the family doesn't allow. So then they go run and then get married, and then they have their own rented apartment. And as usual, the first few months are very happy days. But then, as soon as they have a child, they have more responsibility. The husband and wife, they start working because they have to meet with all the expenses. But then, in this fast life of, materialism and the fast life of competitive world today, both of them, they were having a great struggle, and due to which the love marriage turned into a disaster. Every day there were fights. Every day there were, difference of opinions. Every day there was miscommunication, misunderstanding. And the miscommunication, misunderstanding came to such a level that every day they used to fight. So one fine day, the wife told, take care of the child. The husband told, I will not do it. Then he said, no, it is your child also. So then both of them, every time they used to fight from small things, and then finally they used to come on the topic of child. The mother used to tell, you take care of the child. The father used to say, you take care of the child. And in this small thing, the husband one day became so furious. He told, you're talking about this child? This is my child and your child. The problem is because you don't want to take the child. I will today take a decision. He took the child and put it outside the balcony, and he was on the fourth floor. And in the great anger, he said, because of this, I'll throw the child. And then the mother said, come on, you only talk, you never do. And then in that anger, he lost his senses. And he said, okay, you say I don't do, I'll show you. This is the problem. So this is not your child, right? He threw the child from fourth floor. Few months baby crying up in the air, smashed on the ground. As soon as the child reached the ground, the child was dead. And as soon as the child fell from the top, the husband understood, I have done a big mistake. What did I did? I killed my own baby. He jumped. He jumped from the fourth floor. He's dead. And seeing this both incident happened in 2 minutes, the wife became crazy. She's saying, "Why did I spoke that word? Why did I do this?" And she was such a shock that she she was about to jump, but then she was completely in that situation that she's lost. Now she's in the mental asylum. Can you imagine the difficulty? The whole family was destroyed in few minutes. And that is the power of anger. That's why they say anger is one shot of danger, one letter short of a danger. So, again, continuing the story of the sixth canto, which we are hearing from few days or few months. So, herein, Vishwarup is dead, but now his father, Tvashta, he's extremely angry. He's so angry that this Indra, because of his power position, he has killed my son Vishwarup. So now Tvashta becomes angry and he starts performing a yagya. And now the focus is to get a demon which will kill Indra. So now he starts chanting the mantras, but again, a twist in the story. What is the twist? There is a pronunciation error. Yeah. That demon which is supposed to be kill Indra, somehow the pronunciation becomes Indra Shatroho. It becomes that demon which will be killed by Indra. That's why it is said that, the Yuga Dharma is chanting the holy name is so easy. Whether you chant, in any situations or whether you chant however, but as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, there are no hard and fast rules because Krishna is there in his holy name. But in the Vedic times, the Yagya and even a small meter difference, even a small pronunciation difference, everything has to be done again. And we see here that that small error, a demon was born, and it was none other than the great Vritrasu. But the whole thing changed because he was supposed to be now killed by Indra. So the Bhagavatam describes that how Vritrasur he appeared, and his whole description was there. His bodily features was like red copper, and he had long hairs, big arms, so powerful, and all that description has been described. And then, you know, we see that as soon as he's born, he now he appears and he is about to go to destroy the Indra. So herein we may have to doubt that how somebody like Indra can make repeated mistakes, right? So many times we have seen that how Indra has uh, you know done so-called mistakes. But we should understand that all these characters of the Srimad Bhagavatam, they're actually, exemplifying this episode just to teach us lessons. Just imagine if everybody is a pure devotee, how could we relate, right? If everybody is a Mahabhagavat, then we are saying, "Arey, apna to jap hi nahi ho raha hai." If there are some devotees who are constantly chanting the holy name and they are pure devotees, but a person who is struggling, when he see a struggling devotee, somebody like Ajamil who was such a sinful person, but he chanted the holy name and then he got delivered. That is like, inspirational stories. Even today's world, people are more interested in stories which are rags to riches, right? That's why in Bollywood movies or all these movies, they show the hero was first doing boot polish and then slowly, he does all this mehnat, majduri, and one fine day he becomes a big man, right? And everybody is like watching the television in the movie saying, "Oh, even I will be successful." one day, right? But herein, the whole Bhagavatam episode, we see that there are different characters of the Srimad Bhagavatam who are teaching us different examples, teaching us different stories, teaching us surrender to the Supreme Personality of God. That's why when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, we should not offend devotees. We should not offend great devotees like Indra. And we should not say, "Ha, Indra to aise hi the." Indra is like that only. He is fallen. He is this, he is that. We should not do that, right? So herein, Twashta, after doing the yagya, he is actually Vritrasur appears, and then Vritrasur grows to fight. And as soon as they see a powerful demon and seeing so powerful, all the devatas they just run away, and then they are like, nothing is working. What is going to happen? And then, as they say, when all doors are closed, there's only one shelter. Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. People go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Indra goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offers prayers. And then the Lord says, okay, I understand. So now the only way to kill this powerful demon is that you should have a thunderbolt. But that thunderbolt is made with the bones of a great devotee. What is that name of that devotee? Huh? Dadichi Muni. You go to this Muni, Dadichi Muni, and ask him for his bones and make a thunderbolt with that. And with that thunderbolt, you can kill this powerful demon Vritrasu. Now, again, Indra has again failed. Just imagine how a person is so engrossed for his power position that he's again ready to kill another person. Not kill, but it's like, going to our sustainability head, Prabhuji, and telling that, you give your life, I want to live, right? It's like, somebody's kidneys are failed and you say, Prabhu, you give me your kidney. No, why? I want to enjoy life. I want to survive. So herein, but this Dadichi Muni was a great devotee. And as soon as he understood that Lord has sent you, he said, how can I say no? And there, Dadichi Muni in that verse, he says that, how uh, if somebody is unhappy, you know, by somebody's pain, basically para dukha dukhi, that is a sign of a Vaishnava. So you all are in distress. How can I be happy? If you want myself, take this. Take my life, take the bones, and make the thunderbolt, and try to do what Lord Vishnu has done. And in this way, you will, you will, your desire will be fulfilled. And then the thunderbolt was made, and again they start to fight. But again, the fight is so powerful that a situation comes where the demons are also running away, and the demigods are also running away. They are not fighting. And Vritrasur, the great demon, although in the form of a demon, but herein he is giving pep talks to the devatas and the demigods, saying, you know what? Hey, you should do your duty. Karmanyevadhikarasti. You should perform your prescribed duties. Like in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is quoting so many verses. Prabhupada is quoting the verse, Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha hankara vimudatma kartaham nimannate. You do it, you do it as a duty to Krishna. Don't think you are the doer. Fight. As warriors, you should fight. And then again, so many different verses. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Right. So again, in all this episode, then after the pep talk, again they start fighting. And again, in all the situations, Vritrasuru, who is unconquerable, now he's fighting. And then, you know, uh, Vritrasur, he starts to fight. And Indra, he was very proud of his mace. He throws the mace, and here in Vritrasur, he just holds that mace and just throws it back at Indra. And Indra is on his Airavat, and it gets hurt to Airavat, and he's hurt so badly that he actually falls down 15 yards behind. Just imagine, you go for a wrestling arena, just like there is a wrestling match, and before the match, it is told, "आप केवल जाओ." You go in the arena, जाओ, complete match fixed. You will be victorious. The other person will be defeated. Just go and fight. And you are like, after so much support, you go. And as soon as you go, one slap or one box, you are like completely off. You are like, what is happening? Completely bewildered, completely confused. Because Indra is like, I did so much planning to be victorious. I got the thunderbolt, and herein, Vitrasur, he hit me so hard that I actually felt so far, and the thunderbolt fell off from his hand. And Vitrasur is standing like this. And in that situation, Indra was completely confused. And he was so much confused that he was like, what's going to happen? What is the situation? And in that situation, herein, we see today's verses, right? If you read the first verse here, it is said that he's saying, you know, don't worry, just lift your thunderbolt, cut me into pieces, and in this way, I will go back home, back to Godhead. You will be victorious, right? So we see how Vritrasur, such a great personality, such a great devotee here. And we all know Vritrasur was none other than Maharaj Chitraketu in his past life. So we see that how, uh, what a story, Vritrasur, a powerful demon, he is ready to be killed. He is ready to be defeated. Externally, he is defeated, but actually, he is winning, right? So that's what we see in this pastime. But here in Indra, he is completely confused. Now, that is the biggest problem. Again, herein, Indra is defeated. Now he is defeated with faith. He doesn't have faith. He's so confused. He's thinking, does this thunderbolt has power? Even if I use it, will I be victorious? He's completely confused. So it is said that, the biggest problem for a devotee is when he loses hope, when he loses faith in the moment. He loses faith in the association of devotees. अभी तो मेरा कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता. And he gives up his chanting, he gives up the process. So that's why it is a biggest, you know, biggest defeat for a devotee. So that's why we have the association of devotees. And in that association of devotees, we take inspiration from devotees. We take guidance from devotees. We take association. In that, we get strength. We get strength to fight and do the things. So, herein we see externally, we see that somebody is, successful, somebody is unsuccessful. Herein we see there is a relative victory versus absolute victory, right? Relative victory and absolute victory. Today in the world, people are more focused on, I want to win. I want to show that I am powerful. I want to show that I am a champion, right? Recently there was Olympics. So many countries coming together just to get a medal. Just to get a medal. And millions and crores of rupees spent just so that they can prove that, our country is so powerful. Our country got so many medals, right? The whole focus is on that, right? But herein we see what exactly is relative victory and absolute victory. In the Shastras, we have the example of Jatayu. In the Ramayana, we see Jatayu when Mother Sita was kidnapped by Ravana. Jatayu, this old bird, he saw. He didn't knew who this personality was. But as a duty, as a seva, he thought, how can this happen? How can this adharma happen? So he went and he challenged the mighty Ravana. Now, if you have read the Ramayana, you should know that what was the power of Ravana. So many demons were actually afraid of him. Many of them were actually working under him, serving him. And this Ravana, with so much power, he started fighting with an old bird, Jatayu. And Jatayu gave him a tough fight, but because of his old age, he couldn't survive. And Sita was crying. Sita was saying, don't do this. You'll give up your life. But he didn't give up. And then Jatayu was killed. And when Lord Ram came and he actually misunderstood him, and then later on found out that he was the one who tried to fight and protect Sita. But then the reward was Lord Ram personally did the cremation or the final rites of Jatayu. So externally he was defeated, but in rest of the history we know Jatayu what contribution he has done. So this is a very important aspect to understand. We have the example again from Ramayana of squirrel. We know that the Setubandh Leela happening, and all these monkeys they were putting big stones, big rocks, big boulders, and here comes squirrel who is trying to roll in the sand, and that sand particle try to put in the water so that somehow if that can help. But externally somebody says that how can a sand compare to a rock or a stone? But then Lord Ram, he's the Lord himself. He's Bhava Grahi Janardana. And that we see. And then he took that squirrel in the hand and blessed that squirrel. So that is the intent. So more important than the result is the intent, right? That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, uh, in the second chapter, I think it says, Neha Vikrama Nasosti Pratyevayu Navigte Swalpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Again, here it talks about the greatest fear. The greatest fear is to glide down from the cycle of birth and death. And in this situation, we see that, a devotee is always eager to advance in Krishna consciousness. So, apechi ed suduracharo, even in this verse, Krishna is saying that even by accident, if a devotee glides down, you know, don't worry, I am there to protect him. Hmm? We should not do aparad. We should consider him sadhur eva samantavya. So like that. So this is the whole episode which we are discussing. That herein we see Vritrasur externally, he is killed, he is defeated, but internally he is glorified. The chapter itself talks about Vritrasur's glorious death. Now so many millions and millions of people die. Every day so many people die. But we hardly talk about them. But herein in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have a demon who is a great devotee, and we are talking about his departure. We are talking about his glorious death. Why Vritrasur is considered glorious? Because he is fearless of death. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj says that How can you judge a person is advancing? One sign is his material desires are diminishing, and another most important sign is he is fearless of death. As an more a person advances, he is fearless. And that is what we see. Vritrasura is completely fearless. He's telling, Uthao, take this thunderbolt, cut me, kill me. I am ready to die. And here Indra, his hand is shivering. He is completely confused. He's completely bewildered. If again I try to kill him, he'll kill me. But here in this series of verses, the last verse, we'll read the translation here. Vritrasura said, O Indra, no one is guaranteed of being always victorious, but the original enjoyer, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Bhagavan. In this world, there is only one person who can always be victorious, and that is Krishna or God. He is the cause, creation, and maintenance and annihilation. He knows everything, being dependent and obliged to accept material bodies. So herein he is completely telling that Krishna is the only one who is beyond all this. So please take up this thunderbolt and kill. So we see a devotee, to the extent he becomes fearless of death, to that extent he's ready to go back home, back to God. Today in the material world, everybody's fearful. Such a big fear. In the pandemic, corona virus, the whole the whole disease was all about fear of death. What if I touch him? I get coronavirus. What if I don't sanitize my head? What if I don't wear the mask? What if I go in public and somebody has COVID? What will happen? So much fear, so much fear. Fear of death. People were completely in fear. But a devotee of the Lord, because he is dependent on Krishna, he is so much absorbed in Krishna, and he has complete faith that Krishna is there to protect me. Krishna is there to take care of me. Krishna is there to award me liberation, to award me his abode, Golok Vrindavan. And that's why we see the sign of a great devotee. Uh, we have the example of His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. When Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was about to leave his body, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj shares in his class, I think for 6 hours he gave the class about Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. And in that story, in that class, Maharaj was talking that very soon when he was on his last days, Radhanand Maharaj and Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj used to speak Krishna Katha for hours and hours. And although Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was in such great pain, he was so blissful. He was so much in ecstasy. In fact, Maharaj was telling that Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, when he used to sleep in the night, and the morning when he used to wake up, he used to tell Maharaj, oh no, one more day in this material world. Oh no, one more day in this material world. Just imagine. He was eager to leave his body. And today's world, people are, they spend so much time, energy, money so that they were thinking, one more day, few more days I can survive. They begged the doctors, kuch bhi karo, bachao, bachao. But herein a devotee is giving by example, one more day in this material, because they know in the material world, they're eager to get united to Krishna, to serve Krishna. Many, many years ago, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was giving a class. And in that class, he was talking about power of devotional service. And he was speaking about one Prabhupada disciple Mataji from New Vrindavan. Her name was Kunti Mataji. And Maharaj was describing how Kunti Mataji, she served Srila Prabhupada. and she had a family, she had a daughter, and her daughter is a famous Kirtaniya. Many of you have heard her famous bhajans. Her name is Karanamrita Mataji. How many of you heard the famous bhajan? Radhe 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 Sham, Radhe Radhe Sham Sham. That famous song she has sung. She had come here, Eco Village, many years ago. So this Mataji, she had some terminal illness and she was about to leave her body. And at that time, she was so much absorbed in Krishna that people were amazed to see that how can a person in so much pain still be so blissful. And that spread so much that people from outside used to come and see and take inspirations from her. And then later on, she left this world. Radhanand Maharaj was saying that that is a devotee. A devotee is so much absorbed in Krishna that although he is in so much pain, but still he is blissful. I was fortunate to associate and serve His Grace Toka Krishna Prabhu. Now, those who were there during that time, Adikesha Prabhu must have been there in the Bhaktivedanta hospital. And externally, Stoka Krishna Prabhu, 33, 34 year old, has one of the most painful cancer. So much pain, excruciating pain. But when you see Stoka Krishna Prabhu, he was not smiling, his face was beaming. And we used to go to massage his body because he had continuous pain in his body. But we used to go and try to console him, but we used to get consoled. That was Stoka Krishna Prabhu. And that whole episode, how Stoka Krishna Prabhu was taken care by Maharaj, given all the facilities. And Stoka Krishna Prabhu is always smiling. And I remember he gave one Bhagavatam class from the hospital, and which was relayed in Chopati. And Maharaj used to talk to him, and they used to have conversation. And few days before he left this world, there's a very famous video which they have made. If you haven't seen, it's called a Guru and His Grace. You should see that video. Extremely amazing video, and how they had actually captured every moment. Few days before, few hours before, few minutes before, few seconds before. And Radhanand Maharaj is telling, are you ready to leave this world? And immediately there is a smile on his face. He said, yes, Maharaj. He said, do you want to go back home, back to Godhead? Yes, Maharaj. And then he's saying, are you ready? Yes. When you want to go? At this moment. And Maharaj is talking to him. And then Maharaj is smiling and Maharaj is telling him, when you go, you will meet Bhakti Tirth Maharaj. You will meet this Maharaj. You will meet this Maharaj. And then Maharaj takes him on a stretcher, gets him to Radha Gopinath temple. And he is giving a personal Vrindavan parikrama inside Radha Gopinath temple on the stretcher. And Maharaj is speaking into his ears. See, can you see Krishna Balram? When you go in Golok Vrindavan, you will play with them. Then he goes, see the Madan Mohan temple. See Radha Govinda temple. This happened in Advaita Acharya's appearance day in February. I think it was 4th of Feb 2005. And Maharaj is on the wheelchair, not wheelchair, the stretcher. And this devotee is in ecstasy, is as if Radhanand Maharaj is giving him a parikrama here in Govardhaniko village. And he's smiling and he's listening to Maharaj. And then on the auspicious day of Advaita Acharya, evening 4:15, the shank blown. At that time, he left his body. Hundreds of devotees chanting the holy name. Maharaj just came few seconds before he leave the body, and Maharaj is putting his hand on his heart and seeing his spiritual master is leaving. What a departure. And the same thing we see here of Vritrasur, who's completely absorbed. He's seeing that although you will die, I will die. Sorry, you will win, but I will die. But I'll be victorious. You enjoy your heaven. I will go back home, back to Godhead. I don't care. All these things are insignificant. because a Vaishnava thinks even mukti is insignificant. And Vritrasur, he's inspiring him, take this thunderbolt, kill me. And then later on in the few verses, we'll see how, you know, Vritrasur is just killed and then he is departed. And that is the glory of great devotee like Vritrasur. In the last few verses, in the last chapter ending, we have heard some of the beautiful verses and the prayers of Vritrasur. And I will end with that. Aham hare tava padekamulo dasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuya manasmareta shupratir gunaste grihitava karma karo tukaya. He's saying that let me offer everything to you, my dear Lord. I am your servant of the devotees. न नाकपृष्ठं न च पारमेष्टं न सर्वभौमं न रसाविपत्यं न योगसिद्धि अपुनर्भवं वा समञ्जसा त्वा विरहाय काङ्क्षे. He's saying that I don't want any other planets. I don't want the higher destination. I just want your association. I just want to serve the devotees. In this way, we see that how a great devotee, day by day, he's advancing and he becomes fearless of death. And that is what we've seen in this episode of Vritrasur. So, thank you all very much. All glories to the great Vritrasur. Vritrasur ki jai. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. Thank you so much. I'll end here. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.